All right, my friends, we're back and we're talking about the last piece missing here for handstand push-ups, kipping handstand push-ups specifically. We talked about all the basic ways of kicking yourself out from that headstand position and then carrying it over into something that looks a little more vertical. On the other end, what we're seeing is that we need to practice that handstand position. The way we practice the handstand in this video series was by walking our feet up and getting ourselves as close as we could to the wall with our chest. Now it's time to have those two roads merge together and perform this beautiful kipping handstand push-up. The style of kipping handstand push-up that I'm going to show you today is going to be chest against the wall kipping handstand push-up. So if you're a CrossFitter, don't get your panties in a bunch, because that doesn't have to be the standard that you use in competition, but sometimes in practice you're going to want it. And the reason you want it is because you want to get better, right? So that's what we're looking for. Check this out. Kipping handstand push-up, we're going to go to that 45-degree angle that we had earlier, which was a partial handstand. So I start in the headstand, same thing. I kick out, I finish. I can walk myself down. How do I progress this up? I bring the hands in. I can bring it in a foot, a centimeter, a millimeter. You can progress it however you feel comfortable. There may be people that actually feel less comfortable going from a further distance, but those people are the ones that haven't worked on the basics. So if that's you, make sure that you go back to the start of the video series, build it up. But if you feel comfortable with it, great. We're progressing to the next level. We walked our hands in a little bit. From there, same thing. I kick up. From there, I can get a little closer. Same thing. I kick up. Notice what's happening. Every time I go closer, I go more vertical. When I go more vertical, I start looking more like a handstand push-up. But there's something else occurring. As I get closer to the wall, it gets more and more awkward to get into that position. As you can see here, I get my hands as close in as I can. I try to squeeze myself in here, and now I perform the same movement. That's great, but it may feel a little awkward. But why do I care about this? Well, because setting this standard is forcing me into the positions that I talked about in the starting videos of this video series. What position am I addressing? Well, these. Think about the wall getting close to me this way. What happens? My feet start naturally compressing into the hamstrings, into the butt. My thighs start getting close to my chest. My knees naturally start to lift up because I don't have the space to be able to hold that tripod. And what is that? Well, that's the ideal shape that we want to be able to perform the kipping motion. So if you think about this progression, it's the most complete progression you can perform in terms of trying to develop this movement pattern, which is kicking with your legs, kicking with your hips, and then following through with an overhead press. And this right here is going to be just the starting ground for everything else. So go back in the video series if you have to, but if you start paying attention, the principles of movement are maintained, but you are constantly challenging the body to grow. And it's taking you places where you haven't been before, and you'll see how those new places are found in every single movement pattern you do besides and beyond handstand push-ups.